makes it less and less possible that Trump will stand trial for the insurrection before this next election. Leah Littman's the author of that New York Times op-ed. She's a professor at the University of Michigan Law School and co-host of the Strict Scrutiny podcast, along with Melissa Murray and my wife, Kate Shaw, and she joins me now. It's great to see you, Leah. I love this piece, partly because you just walked through the timeline, which inspired us to do so as well. Why do you not think there's a good faith explanation here that it's complex or that this court is moving slowly because there's some weird factional battles happening behind the scenes?
I think this court has lost the benefit of the doubt and the presumption of good faith for any number of reasons. One is that they are more than capable of acting quickly, even in difficult cases where there is disagreement. The Trump disqualification case arising out of Colorado, where the Colorado State Court took him off the ballot, that resulted in a divided opinion. And yet the court still was able to get it out before Super Tuesday, before people went to cast their ballots, and within a month of the oral argument. Here, there might well be division, and yet the court has taken 2 months since oral argument. And the arguments in the case, I think, are way more outlandish than any of the arguments on behalf of disqualifying a president who participated in the January 6th insurrection. You add to that all of the indications of the justice's, let's say, extracurricular activities, like Justice Alito flying multiple Stop the Steal flags associated at his house. And all of that, I think, is more than enough indication that this court just cannot be trusted to actually follow the rules and adhere to the legal process when it comes to cases involving Donald Trump.
That point about the Colorado case is great. I had totally forgotten that time frame, right? So in there, the clock that's ticking is they got to print the ballots, I think, for Colorado. They were going to actually vote. They were going to send them out to mail them. And of course, the notion was if we don't act, he's not going to be on the ballot, right? So the sort of constraining thing they had to do was like, if we don't act quickly, Donald Trump won't be on the ballot. In this, it's totally flipped. If we don't act, then nothing happens to our guy. And they seem to be taking longer.
Yes, that's exactly right. And I think if you go back to the oral argument in the Trump immunity case, you saw the Republican justices attempt to interject basically every other possibility into this case, aside from the case they were actually being asked to decide. So Justice Alito, for example, floated the possibility to the special counsel's office, well, what if a president just made a mistake? Could he be prosecuted then? As if the Stop the Steal movement was just some kind of oopsie that the president had engaged in or the former president had engaged in for the last 2 months. I mean, this case doesn't involve a simple mistake. And if you look back to the Nixon case, there, the Supreme Court basically said, we don't have to resolve absolutely everything related to immunity. All we have to say is presidents aren't immune from criminal process based on some generalized definition of confidentiality.